One of the interesting things about costs is that in the old days, costs and revenue, the minute you started your company, your investors said, oh, we know how to track all this. We want you to fill out an income statement, a balance sheet, and cash flow. And we want you to do accounting from day one, which gives us visibility and forecast, etc. The problem is these were execution metrics. Existing companies execute known plans. You could, in fact, do all the spreadsheets you want for every board meeting, but in fact, they're not worth the paper they're printed on. But you and your maybe rent a CFO or accountant have spent a lot of time. Now, understand that your VCs or investors, if they're professionals, need them for their investors. But what you really need to be doing is working with your investors and your management team is to derive the metrics that matter. So if your investors really want to see income statement, balance sheet, cash flow, great, you could give them the fantasy documents all they want. But what you're really interested in is trying to understand what are the metrics that matter for your business. And I'll give you some examples. In value proposition, what was the product cost? What was the market size? What share could you take? What's the competition? What are they charging? And customer relationships, all the get, keep, grow metrics, some of which we talked about, some of which we'll discover. What were the customer acquisition costs? What were the conversion rates? What were the lifetime value? These are key metrics. This is a lot more important than what's revenue in year 4 because you're just guessing about that. But these are numbers you're going to be living with every day. And by the way, what market type are you in? If you remember from our earlier lectures, if you're in an existing market, that's a different type of revenue curve than being in a new market. Do your investors still agree? What are your operating costs? What are the basic fixed and variable costs of the business? What's the cost of your channel? What's the margin the channel needs? How much are you going to have to spend on channel promotion, shelf space, any other channel extra charges? And then again for your revenue stream, do you now know with certainty the average selling price, the number of customers per year, achievable revenue, how long it takes to close a sale? And here's the number that actually intersects with one of the ones that your investors are worrying about all the time. How much money are you spending per month, often called burn rate? And not only how much are you burning per month, but when we just calculate that out, when will you run out of money? All these numbers are ones that you as founders need to have on the top of your head. No startup has 300 numbers. There's probably somewhere between 5 and 15 that matter. And maybe you could be the exception. But you as the founder need to know all these parameters. And in fact, the exercise is see if you could go up to a whiteboard and list them. And if you can't, understand that that's your job in searching for the business model. And when you know these numbers, the spreadsheets fall out of these. But trying to do it ab initio from some guessing spreadsheet just is some fantasy. You need to get these metrics that matter known, searched, understood, and don't worry, they will change, but the whole game of the business model canvas and the customer development process was for you to find them out firsthand and to experience them, not to have them happen to you.